Thank you. Okay, so peroxisome. Microbodies, small, spherical, single membrane bonded cell organelles. And one of them is a peroxisome. Peroxisome is concerned with the photorespiration. What is a photorespiration? The definition of photorespiration is light induced uptake of O2 and evolution of carbon dioxide by chloroplast. Light induced uptake of O2. So O2 is absorbed by chloroplast and carbon is oxidized and evolved in the form of CO2. So light induced uptake of oxygen and evolution of CO2 by chloroplast is called as photorespiration. So in plants, photorespiration is a waste process during which photosynthetic yield is reduced. So photosynthetic efficiency of a plant is reduced because of a photorespiration. And we will study the mechanism of photorespiration in second year. Just remember the definition. For first year, this is enough. And second one, oxidation of hydrogen peroxide. Peroxisomes are able to cause oxidation of H2O2, hydrogen peroxide, into water and oxygen. So by causing oxidation of hydrogen peroxide, definitely peroxisomes are able to protect plant cells from toxic effects of hydrogen peroxide. So by causing oxidation of hydrogen peroxide, they can protect. They means peroxisomes. They can protect cells from toxic effects of hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so that is about peroxisome. Okay, next second one, glyoxysomes. They are also single membrane bonded cell organelles. Glyoxysomes. This one is completely beyond NCERT textbook. Okay, so second one, glyoxysomes. They are also single membrane bonded cell organelles and spherical shaped cell organelles, and they are concerned with they are having enzymes. Glyoxysomes are rich in enzymes. They are with enzymes. These enzymes are concerned with glyoxylate cycle, one type of metabolic pathway. Glyoxylate cycle. During this cycle, fats are converted into carbohydrates. So it is concerned with conversion of fats to carbohydrates. Conversion of fats to carbohydrates. That is enough. And one more thing. Generally, glyoxysomes are rich in. They are rich in glyoxysomes are rich in germinating fat, rich seeds. Seeds rich in fats. If they are germinating, definitely their number is highest. Purpose to convert a fat present in seeds into carbohydrates. At the time of digestion and oxidation, compulsory pure form of either carbohydrate or protein or lipid must be converted into monomers. Then only oxidation is possible. Okay, take the screenshot, please. Take it, copy it.
Sir. Sir, universal self scorer. Sir, use the same కదా sir?
No problem, use it.
Okay sir.
Good. Sir, good public.
సార్ దాంట్లో టాపిక్ చాలా దీంట్లో ఎన్సిఆర్టీ కంప్లీట్ చేసి చాలా బ్రీఫ్ ఉంది సార్ మరి.
అవునవునవును, దట్ ఈస్ ఫర్ ఐపీ ఇట్ ఈస్ బెస్ట్. ఐపీ ఓన్లీ, నాట్ ఫర్ నీట్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్.
ఓన్లీ ఎన్సిఆర్టీ ఇస్ బెస్ట్ సార్, నీట్ ఫర్.
Yes, read NCERT and Telugu Academy textbook. These two more than enough.
Okay sir.
Okay.
Okay sir.
Copy it, please.
Okay sir.
Okay, can you take the screenshot of participants, please? Okay, now I'm erasing it. That is about micro bodies. How many are there, students? Anybody respond?
20 sir.
20 sir.
21 including you sir.
Okay, thank you.
And Yashoda madam.
Okay. Okay, so that is about the unit of life. Next one, second chapter in that cell biology, biomolecules. Biomolecules, not biomolecules. Don't feel any bayam, no apprehension. Most of the students treat biomolecules as biomolecules. Okay? They are biomolecules only. How to dispel or expel biome out of biomolecules, we will see. Okay? So in our body, a number of organic and inorganic components are present. With the help of those biomolecules, both organic and inorganic chemicals, the dynamic state of any organism is sustained or that will be continued. Okay, so for example,
sir, once again say the definition.
Yes, wait. I'll tell you, wait, please. Wait. For example, soil. So soil is rich in a number of inorganic nutrients. So in the soil, a number of minerals are present. Minerals are inorganic nutrients. Inorganic nutrients. Okay, so these inorganic nutrients are absorbed by the plant. Absorbed by plant. This flowchart is not given in your textbook, just listen. So within the plant, now a number of minerals are present. So within the plant, these minerals and other inorganic components are chemically binded, chemically converted into organic compounds. Now those organic compounds are called as biomolecules, not biomolecules. Biome. Okay. So if you take any biomolecule, For example, take chlorophyll. In chlorophyll, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, magnesium are present. Or if we take any organic compound, compulsory, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. These three are mandatory. Okay, so actually in this chapter, what we are going to study? We are going to study the comparison between various inorganic components present in the animal tissue or plant tissue. And out of the plant or animal tissue, what are the biomolecules? Here, biomolecule means all organic compounds which are produced by the organism, means carbon rich compounds which are produced inside the organism are called as biomolecules. So if a tissue is chemically analyzed and compared with a soil, what is the difference between inorganic components present in the earth, some amount of soil, and a tissue coming from either plant or animal or microbe? So regarding type of inorganic nutrient, there is no big difference. Both are having carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, potassium, calcium, boron, zinc, like that. But here difference is a relative abundance of these molecules within earth and some amount of quantity of animal tissue, plant tissue or microbial tissue. So all these both are having both soil sample and a sample of animal tissue and soil sample. Both are having same type of inorganic nutrients. Okay, so both are having same type, but difference is quantity, relative abundance of individual molecules. For example, take our body and some amount of soil. In our body, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. The quantity of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen is several times more than that of soil. So in our body, carbon skeleton is present. What is that carbon skeleton? Proteins, lipids, and other materials, biomolecules, which are involved in the construction of the body. For example, take a plasma membrane. Chemically, what is plasma membrane? It is made up of proteins, lipids, polysaccharides. So that is carbon skeleton. So that carbon skeleton is nothing but protein, lipid, and other polymers. So here plant is able to convert inorganic nutrients into organic nutrients. Okay. So now to understand what are the chemicals present in our body, our plant body, our microbial tissue, we have to perform two types of chemical reactions. What are those chemical analysis? Sorry. We need two types of chemical analysis to understand what are the chemicals present in the body and earth. So first one is organic chemical analysis. Chemical analysis. Chemical analysis of organisms. So we have to perform chemical analysis in two ways. One is organic chemical analysis, and second one inorganic chemical analysis. First one, organic chemical analysis. Organic chemical analysis. What about organic chemical analysis? For example, take 100 grams of leaf tissue or animal tissue or microbial tissue. 100 grams of a tissue, whatever the tissue. Okay, right? And this tissue is transferred into mortar. This is mortar. Okay, and with the help of a pestle. This one is a pestle. Grind it. So we have to grind that 100 grams of tissue or some amount of tissue, whatever the amount of tissue. With the help of mortar and pestle, we have to grind it. Mixie, grinding. So at the time of grinding, we have to add one solvent. What is that solvent? According to textbook, we can use acetone also or some other compound, but in your textbook, trichloroacetic acid is given. Cl3 trichloroacetic acid. Cl3CCOOH, trichloroacetic acid. So within trichloroacetic acid, we have to grind so-called consent tissue. After grinding, definitely we'll get a slur paste, slur of that tissue, semi-solid, duff-like one. Okay, and filter it. For example, this is a test tube. Take the test tube and cheesecloth or cotton cloth or filter paper. In your textbook, cheesecloth is given, one type of cloth. Cheesecloth, cheesecloth, or some cotton cloth or filter paper. We can use filter paper also. Okay, filter it. After filtering, definitely we will get two fractions. What are those two fractions? Acid soluble fraction, acid insoluble fraction. So after filtration, we will get two fractions. What are they? One is acid soluble fraction at the bottom of the test tube. So at the bottom of the test tube, acid soluble fraction. Okay, so in the acid soluble fraction, what is the acid soluble fraction? Liquid part. Liquid part. That acid soluble fraction is having a number of components. I will give you there. And this part. So acid soluble fraction, it is also called as a filtrate. It is also called as filtrate. Filtered one. Filtrate. Next, something accumulated within the cheesecloth. That is almost a solid part. This solid part is called as acid insoluble fraction. Acid insoluble fraction, generally called as retentate, retained one, retentate, retentate. Technically, it is called as acid insoluble fraction. First one at the bottom of the test tube, acid soluble fraction. Now, what are the components? So I have to check, analyze what are the components present in acid soluble and acid insoluble fraction. So first one, acid soluble fraction. This is according to chemistry, organic chemistry. So according to acid soluble fraction, what are the organic compounds present in that one? So according to that analysis, a number of amino acids particularly, and vitamins. Next, monomeric carbohydrates means glucose, fructose, sucrose, a number of monomeric components are present. All these are biomolecules. What is biomolecule? Carbon-rich organic compounds produced inside the body of the organism. All these are organic compounds. In addition to organic compounds, inorganic minerals also present, inorganic components. Okay, so that is about acid soluble fraction. So actually acid soluble fraction is having thousands of organic compounds. They are the monomers, a number of amino acids, glucose, indefinite, we can't count it. But overall, these are the kinds possible. We can say up to like that only. And to estimate total number, again, we have to follow some other method. So you need not to estimate total quantity of glucose, amino acids like that. Just what are the types? We have to know what are the types. And the second one, acid insoluble fraction. Acid insoluble fraction, retentate, retained one. Within that, macro biomolecules are present, largest biomolecules. What are they? Polymers. What are the polymers? Proteins present in acid insoluble fraction. So proteins are polymers, heteropolymers. Polymer means a number of monomers are joined by some bond, whatever the bond. Heteropolymers. So protein is a polymer of amino acids. It is a polymer of amino acid. We'll see what about the bond present in protein later, not now. Just remember the protein. So protein is a heteropolymer, a chain of monomers, amino acids. For example, a chain of white colored beads. That chain is a polymer of beads. For example, this wall with a number of bricks, for example, some brick, whatever the brick. So this wall is polymer of a number of bricks held together by cement or concrete. So like that, in a protein, a number of amino acids are joined together with the help of some bond that is called as peptide bond. We'll see peptide bond and protein structure at the time of protein. Separately, we are having conformational analysis. What about the structure of the protein? Under the heading of a so-called structure of protein, we have to study primary structure, secondary, quaternary, tertiary levels. We'll see that in there. Just remember protein. What about the location of proteins? Out of these two fractions, in which fraction protein is present? So proteins, it is a polymer. Next, the second one, polysaccharides. 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 Starch, polysaccharide. Okay. Next, a glycogen, polysaccharide. Like that, so many examples are there. So you can take a starch. Okay. Next, third one, nucleic acids, DNA and RNA. So starch, polysaccharides are also polymers. Starch is a homopolymer with the same type of monomers. So in starch, a number of glucose monomers are present. So starch is a homopolymer. It's not a heteropolymer. For example, heteropolymer means a chain of beads with different colors, white, red, pink. That is heteropolymer. So here polysaccharides are generally homopolymers. Heteropolymers are very rare in the case of polysaccharides. And the nucleic acids also heteropolymers. Heteropolymers. And last one, fourth one, lipids. Lipids are non-polymers. They are not polymers. Okay, right? So that is about organic chemical analysis. So in acid soluble fraction, the maximum components are coming from cytoplasmic components only, coming from cytoplasm. A number of monomeric components present in cytoplasm moved into so-called trichloroacetic acid as they are very small with less molecular weight. They passed through the filter and entered into acid soluble fraction. And what about proteins, polysaccharides, nucleic acids, and lipids? Particularly proteins, polysaccharides, nucleic acids are polymers. So that's why they are struck up there. And they are accumulated in the sieve areas of so-called cheesecloth. And lipids are monomers only. Even though they are monomers, they are accumulated in the acid insoluble fraction. Reason, lipids are involved in the construction of a plasma membrane. At the time of grinding, plasma membrane is converted into circular, vascular, vacuolar type of a structure. So that's why lipid is retained within the acid insoluble fraction. Okay, so that is about organic chemical analysis. Take the screenshot. Copy it. Wait. Wait. One minute, hang on. Stay like that.
అదేంటి అంట కదా.
Okay, today enough organic chemical analysis, and tomorrow we'll see inorganic chemical analysis. Okay, bye, see you. We'll meet tomorrow.
Bye, sir.
Okay, bye.
Bye, sir.